Hi, how's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7 back again with another view from the van. Hope everybody is okay and have got over the disappointment, last week, the result, the glut and Manx and all that sort of thing. I hope you've gotten over that because there's still a considerable portion of this season left to go, and the possibility, it may be a distant, it may be a pipe dream, but possibility of Champions League football, Europa League football, or even the new the Conference League competition. Look, whatever happens, you just want the lads to go out there now between now and the end of the season, give it the all, leave nothing else behind, and then let's just see where this team can finish in the league. Can we get European football? Can we fast track the plan that the owners have got for the football club? Can we fast track that and get European competition? Because it would be amazing for us as fans. The final, I think, of one of the competitions, I think it might be the Europa League, is actually in Ireland next season, so that could be decent. Imagine a good run in that competition through to the final, winning that competition. You just never know. With this club, with the owners that we've got, with the manager that we've got, with the lads, I think anything is possible, and that's why I don't write us off this weekend. If Brentford can do it, then we can do it. Injuries seem to be clearing up. There's no distraction for the cup final now, so fingers crossed everything continues to go well between now and the end of the season. But certainly this weekend, if we could get a point out of this game, it would be absolutely fantastic. And I tell you something, if it's even half as good as the game was at St James's Park early in the season, then both sets of fans and the neutrals alike will have a great time watching this game, because I think we really showed everybody else, and this season they have dropped and they have lost a few games, Man City, but we sort of laid the blueprint out almost. We had a right go at them on that particular day. We didn't just sit back, and we definitely bloodied their nose. We went, if you remember, 3-1 up at one point, and City, with their quality, which no doubt they've got, pegged us back 3 apiece in the end, and we took a point. A great game of football. If we can get anything else like that, it will be great. I think both coaches will probably not want as many goals in the game, but look, from an entertainment point, Kyle's down there tomorrow at the game. You want a good spectacle, you want a bit of a pick-me-up after the events down at Wembley. We didn't disgrace ourselves in that game or anything else like that, and XG suggests that we were, should have done better in the game, but XG is a funny one, and from my perspective, I don't think we did enough to win last weekend. We weren't creative enough. We didn't have that bit of luck. We didn't have a little bit of quality, especially from set pieces and stuff. And for this weekend, I think to stand a chance of getting anything out of this game, our set pieces need to be perfect. Our defence needs to be on point. And I think that Eddie possibly needs to change things up as well. We need a little bit of freshness, because certainly what brought us to the dance, what put us into a fantastic position in the league, was regularly playing the same side week in and week out. However, I think that some of the players are looking particularly leggy. The ones who have been fit all season, who haven't had the games away to rest and recuperate a little bit, are looking jaded, are looking tired. And in the system that we like to play, the press that we like to play from the front, a few percentage points off a player's maximum, and one problem position, and it all falls down like a deck of cards. So I do think changes are needed. I think the system is fine. I don't think Eddie will drop, and I've heard this in the press, I've heard it on Sky Sports, speculation, you might drop to a 5 at the back, you might play wing backs, and whereby we've got the personnel to do that. We could put Don Byrne in the middle with Shea and Botman, and play 2 wing backs, Matt Target on one side, Trippier on the other, 2 in central midfield, and so on. We can build up a team like that. I've got no problems at all, and again, most of the lads at Newcastle have played that way, or at least over the last couple of seasons. But I just don't see Eddie going that defensive, or with the mentality, I think the mentality stays the same. You might tweak a few positions here and there. There may be one or two changes just to freshen things up in this game, but I don't imagine that we're going to change the formation and go to 5 at the back. Go through the team that I think you'll go with shortly, but press conference of course this morning, Eddie spoke about a few things. First of all, confirming that Ryan Fraser is training with the youth team, the under-21s, and he talked about the fact that he only wants players committed to the club being involved in the group, and he thought that was important for the group. So read into that what you will. What you will. Is he wanting to be away? Has he got a move lined up? Has he had his head turned by somebody else? Did he want to transfer in January and didn't get it? Is he unhappy about game time he's had up until this point? It could be a combination of all those factors, but Ryan Fraser will not be in any Newcastle United squad between now and the end of the season, whilst he's certainly in this frame of mind. So Eddie Howe, quick to stamp his authority on the squad there straight away. And other concerns that we had, I think, going into this weekend, the biggest one was of course about Bruno. Now, we've missed Bruno like fucking crazy over recent weeks. There has been a Bruno shaped hole in the middle of Newcastle United's midfield, there's no doubt about it. We haven't got another player of his quality, because he's head and shoulders above most players in the fucking Premier League, to be honest. But with his smartness, his feet, his ability to move quickly, get the ball forward, we haven't got another player who operates in that way. So we majorly missed having Bruno available. So then when he goes off in the cup final, you're fearing the worst. You're looking back at the pictures and he got quite a whack again. No surprise, Manchester United, Manchester Reds even playing dirty. Now, unusual about that, of course, he gets away scot-free because it's Manchester United, Manchester Reds, so they get away with it. But they said on that. But thankful. I saw the pictures, the training pictures from the club earlier in the week, and he was out on the pitch, so you were fingers crossed at that point. But today, Eddie Howe has confirmed that he had a bit of pain, a bit of discomfort. That's why he was brought off in that particular game. However, they've come back to training on the Monday, and he's been absolutely fine. He's been training, no issues, no problems, nothing's affected the work out on the training pitches this week, so he will be involved, there's no doubt about that. If we take what we've heard at face value, we're not changing formations, despite speculation from other quarters that we may do that, and like I said, despite having the personnel. But if we're sticking with the same formation, I expect to see Nick Pope back in goal. That's no dig, no slight to Karius. I don't think Karius will be in the squad. Dubravka will be back on the bench, but Nick Pope will be back in, and he'll probably want to prove a point. He'll be like a man possessed, so look for a fantastic display. And if we are to get anything out of the Etihad, we are going to need Nick Pope to be on top form. So that's, I think, pretty much a given that he will be a top draw. So Nick Pope in goal. At the right hand side, Kieran Trippier. Now Trippier hasn't been at his champagne best, but with his leadership and everything else like that, there's no question marks for me that he will start. He'll come in there won't be anybody else come in. You've got Manquillo down on the bench. I know you've got Ashby waiting in reserve as well, but no, Trippier, he will captain the side, and he will know he's had a couple of below par performances, especially from the set piece side of it, and that'll be something that no doubt he's been working on in training all week. So Trippier on the right hand side. In the middle, it'll be the same as, it'll be Fabian Schär and Sven Botman, and at left back, this is where I think the first change will come, because I think Matt Targett comes in. I really do. I think Dan Burn, I love Dan Burn. He's fucking mint. He's a centre back who's playing left back, and although I think he'll be on the bench, I think he needs a rest for a game or two. I think again he looks jaded, he looks tired, he looks fatigued, and I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, opposition teams are targeting the space in between him and behind him, in between him and whoever's playing centre back beside him. So they're looking to get balls in, playing long balls, direct balls, quick balls. The goalkeepers are aiming for that space behind Dan Burn each and every time. looking to get somebody in pacey behind Dan Burn, because obviously Dan Burn hasn't got the pace. Get in behind the Newcastle defence, get balls crossed over and create chances that way. And it has been a little bit of an Achilles heel recently now. Say it's no knock with Dan Burn, because I think he's absolutely fucking great. Just want to underline that point before the comments start. But I think Target is a more natural option there. He was fantastic last season. This season he's been up and down. He's carried an injury. He's got up to a point where he can't play on with the injuries. Had the injury seemed to sorted. He's been back to training. He's played in a reserve game. He had an assist and a goal in that reserve game. He's ready to come back into it. I would give him this game. And it, like I say, it just takes Dan Burn out and rests him, because between now and the end of the season it could come a time when we've got to rotate and rest centre backs, and I'd rather have Dan Burn in reserve than I would have Jamal Lascelles, with the greatest of respect. I've got a lot of respect, a lot of time for Jamal Lascelles, but I just feel more comfortable having Dan Burn in reserve as opposed to Jamal Lascelles. So yeah, I think Target comes back in, and there's your defence. So it was Pope, Trippier, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär and Matt Target. That's your defence. In front of him, again, I think calls could be made here as well. You could freshen things up. Bruno, he walks in. He absolutely walks in. He is the number one name you put down on the team sheet. Beside him, Big Joe Linton has done nothing wrong. Again, I've heard speculation. Could he go and be moved out to back to the wide left place that he again was drafted into recently? But no, I don't think that he will. I think they kept in the centre, and I want to get to the reason why shortly. So Joe Linton, Bruno. Now you've got one of two. You've either got Sean Longstaff or Joe Willock. Now, if Joe Willock for me offers more of a goal threat, Sean Longstaff does a lot of good work off the ball, covers a lot of ground. Has done absolutely fantastic. For me, he was taken off, wasn't he, last time out? And again, I think he's another player who looks tired and jaded and has played every single time, it seems, recently he's been on the team sheet. So Willock coming back, he had a bit of a knock, a bit of an issue, came on, was a substitute. His athleticism, his speed, his ability to move around the pitch, very, very mobile. I'd like to see Joe Willock. I think Joe Willock is going to start this game. So Joe Willock I want to put in the middle there as well. Now, here, again, Eddie Howe spoke about Anthony Gordon in his press conference today, and is that tip and hat of potentially changes in the next two positions. Now, I think, again, Miggy started the season absolutely on fire. Everything he's touched turned to gold. He's got 10 goals. He's our leading scorer. I think his workmanlike abilities could well be an asset in this game. However, Anthony Gordon is chopping at the bit. He is ready. He didn't play last weekend. He needs minutes. He's got work done on the training ground. Eddie Howe touched upon that today. He's been impressed with him, and I think he could well start in one of these two wide places either side. If we put him on the right hand side and we rest Miggy, I think Miggy will benefit from not playing every single game. He needs a rest. That lad is covered. We talk about players who cover every blade and who suit the system and the pressing style of Eddie Howe. But he's human at the end of the day. He's human at the end of the day. So he needs to be taken out of the line of fire occasionally. And I think this is an opportunity to do so. I think it's the perfect game. Anthony Gordon will come in there and he will also graft, and he'll also put it all out there. He'll get forward, he'll be able to break, you know, especially if we're a little bit under the cosh. That ability to break quickly could well be a key point, a key way of us getting something out of the game. So Anthony Gordon on one side. On the other side, St. Maximin, he still stays in there for me. He splits the fan base, he really does, but I've continuously spoke about the fact he's a match winner, he's a difference maker, and he is a magician. All of a sudden, out of a blink of the eye, looking at, for example, the Wolves game, he can pull a moment of absolute sheer brilliance, audacity out of the back of nothing. He can get you a goal and get you a point, you know, as he did down at Molineux. So I would have St. Maximin in there. Now, he has struggled recently because he's been injured a lot. He's came back in, he's needed that time to get back up to match speed. I personally think that he's been playing decent really decently over the last couple of games. Because when he first started to come back in, he wasn't the same Maximum of old. However, I think he has been hamstrung by not having a natural left back behind him who will make those overlapping runs, and he's had to stop, he's had to check his runs, he's had to do stuff which is, I think, slightly unnatural, slightly foreign to him. Having Target there, I think, will actually help his game a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing Target and St Maximin down that left hand side, and I think that as a result of having a natural left back in the team who's comfortable at playing there, who's comfortable of getting up and down the pitch, and has got a little bit more pace and mobility and manoeuvrability about them, more than what Dan Burns got, that might help St Maximin. He might feel a little bit more comfortable to just, like I say, get the ball, and then he knows that overlapping run's going to be made. You can knock it out one way, cut in the other, he can take a shot, he can try a little dribble, he can try his little tricks and flicks and stuff like that. So it gives him more options. It also, as well, from the opposition side of it, gives them something else to think about, because I think with Dan Burn on the left hand side and St Maximin, you know that he's going to have to cut in on the right hand side, so you're pretty sure. And if you turn him the other way, you can just send him into a cul-de-sac. I think that's a lot of the time what's going to happen. That's a lot of the problems and the issues and the frustrations. I think you'll see a better St Maximin with Target playing than what you will do with Dan Burn. That's my my gut feeling about it. So I'll be interested to see who Eddie Howe goes with, but I think it'll be the same. I can't imagine Joe Linton being shifted out in the middle, not with who he's up against. And we're going to have to be really athletic and strong and determined in this game to get anything out of it. So I'd want Joe Linton in the middle. I think Eddie Howe will want Joe Linton in the middle, for sure. Then up top, he's another one. I think a change will come, and I think it'll be Isaac. He came on in the cup final, and he was different gravy. He was straight into it, and he looked energised, he looked focused, he looked determined, he looked really, really pacey. He was trying to make things happen. He was trying to get shots away on target. He was trying to be positive. Now, when I've seen Callum Wilson recently, I think since the World Cup, he's looked tired, fatigued, slightly disinterested, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I just think he was that focused on getting on the plane to the World Cup that afterwards it's sort of a bit after the Lord Mayor's show. He's then had his injuries and this, that and the other, so it hasn't been great. Now, I love Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson will come good again, there's no doubt about it. The team have to create more chances, and I will say that the team as a whole, as an offensive unit, isn't creating enough chances at the moment for me. But I just think for the time being, the player who looks more likely to score goals would be Isaac. Let me know what you think down below. Do you think Callum Wilson looks more likely to get a goal? I've always felt that when we've had Callum Wilson in the team, that we are capable of getting a goal, because give him half a chance and he could well score a goal. He's a quality striker, a quality centre forward. He holds the line, he leads the line well. But I just think recently the performance levels have just gone down a few percent. He looks fatigued, he's not chasing down, and the press comes from the very, very top in the system that Eddie Howe plays, and he's not pressing enough. He's not putting their defenders under enough pressure, which is meaning that we're not winning the ball back soon enough. And for this system to work, we need to win the ball really, really high as they're defending, and then be able to break quickly on them. That isn't happening, so I can see the change being made. I don't know what you feel about it. I've heard people say play Gordon up top and still play Miggy out wide. I've heard plenty of shout for Isaac to be up top, and I've seen people saying no, it's not time for him yet. And I've also seen shouts about the fact that Isaac should be playing maybe slightly of a withdrawn role in the middle. That's something that Eddie Howe doesn't really like to do. He doesn't really like to play two up top, but I think circumstances dictated last time out, when we were 2-0 down at half time, that he had to go for it. So here it'll be different. It's a big game of chess. It's back to 0-0, and it's a tactical game between the two sides. But touching upon what I think the result will be, your head would say it's going to be a very, very difficult day at Newcastle, for Newcastle United, of course. However, I'm always the optimist, and I just think that if Brentford can get amongst them and ruffle a few feathers and come away from with 3 points, then why can't we at least be going to get a point? And I can see a scenario where it's a 1-1 or something like that, and if it is, that would be fantastic, because it puts us into a run of games which are very winnable on paper. And then we can look to sort of take the games back that we've got games in hand on other teams around us, and really push on for this final, for this final run. We've got no FA Cup games to be distracted about. The League Cup's done. No European football, and we've got to go hell for leather, full the way down to try and get as many points on the board, and see where we finish. At the end of the day, regardless. If we finish 8th, if we finish 5th, or we finish 4th, wherever we finish at the end of the season, it has been a fantastic fucking season. It's a season that we have played better football. We've seen even more hope given back to us as a fan base. We've seen some fantastic signings being made. We've started to see some of the dead wood sort of be sieved out of the squad. The squad's slowly starting to take shape and rebuilding. So much has been done. The club's got the option to expand. We've heard from the owners regularly. We're getting good communication from the club. All the noises, all the things being said about, competing for trophies, competing for Premier Leagues, competing for FA Cups, League Cups, European Cups. It's all absolutely brilliant. Not too long ago, we had Steve Bruce and Mike Ashley with Lee Charnley, the man with fucking slip-on shoes because he can't tie his own bastard laces, running the show. So it is a million times better. And not once this season have we had to think about the R word. We haven't had to think about that. It's always been a case of looking up and wondering and laughing and enjoying every little moment of action. So no matter what happens this season, I think all Newcastle United supporters have got a smile on their face. They're enjoying it. They're enjoying the ride. It's happy days at Newcastle United. And just finally, I'll touch upon obviously some of the big news this week around about this golf legal case that there is over in the States, and Amnesty International, amongst others, including the cartel, obviously banging the fucking drum. This needs to be looked at. And it's literally any opportunity and the pounce. And it's almost like as if there's a takeover of another club and they need a smoke screen, isn't it? It's a bit like that. You'd think that maybe one of the other top 6 were getting, from round somewhere, getting taken over possibly by somebody in the same region. My head's a blank. It really is. My head's totally blank. But the cartel, they'll never be happy. Because you've got the owners talking about wanting pretty much domination and want to compete on all fronts and everything, and that puts more competition for these prizes against the others, and the others aren't going to like that. It's put the cat amongst the pigeons, there's no doubt about it, and every opportunity, and we should get used to this, that there is to take a shot at the club, they will take. But to me, it's just background noise. The assurances have gone in there. They are binding insurances. It is as tight as a duck's arse. No issues, no problems, and they may go looking to cause shit, but it's tough shit. It has gone through, it has been signed off, and there's nothing that they can do. They might not like the outcome. They might not like the fact that the sleeping giant has been woken. However, TSP, pal, tough shit. That's all I've got to say about that. Interesting as well to see that lots of transfer links have started up this week. Lots of different outlets reporting different things. Newcastle United scouts here, there and everywhere checking out players. Hopefully it all signals towards at least some good early activity in the window. Newcastle getting everything in order to strike straight away and to not leave it towards the end and then miss out on targets and stuff like that. So let's hope that's a positive sign for things to come in the summer, but that's later on down the line. Like I say, 1-1 I'm going for. That's my prediction. Changes to be made to the team as well. Kyle will be down there, so lots of match footage during the game, before the game, after the game, from the fans and stuff like that. really trying to sample and get a good flavour of it. And a little bit of Magpie 24/7 housekeeping whilst I'm on. The very, very astute of you will have noticed a few symbols popping up here and there for Rocket. This week we have partnered with Rocket, who are going to be helping us to sort of really just push our content onto the next level, to give us the access to the expertise, to the people who have been there and done things before, things that we haven't done, like websites and stuff like that. So we've partnered with them. They're going to be offering us various bits and bobs of technical expertise to help Magpie 24/7 onto that next level. Over 100,000 followers now across the brand. It is fantastic. It's fucking mind blowing. We were sat there in Wembley thinking there's more followers for Magpie 24/7 than there is for seats at Wembley, and we are discussing it, and it blows our minds away. You know, like I say, we took a chance on ourselves back under 2 years ago ish, to start Magpie 24/7 with just a passion for Newcastle United and an idea about a brand, and we've worked at it morning, noon and night, 7 days a week. We love what we do. We love talking about Newcastle United, and it's nice that that has been recognised by a fantastic following across the board, and also from Rocket coming in. They approached us and said, look, do you want some extra help with regards to setting things up and pushing your channel on with regards to things like websites and stuff? Yeah, more than happy. We've always worked across the community. We've always worked collaboratively with other people, with other brands. You know, Kyle does a lot with you know, True Faith and everything, and that's just the way that we like to do things. We like to operate it. But yeah, we were totally blown away, you know, by them approaching us. They do work for other fantastic similar type of brands for other clubs as well. The likes of Redmen and stuff like that. They do work and support for them, so to offer us their services as well for Magpie 24/7 is a thumbs up. If it becomes better, if it becomes bigger, great. And there's other things lined up to be able to bring to the channel. Basically the core stuff stays the same: the football, the news, views, the opinions, the banter, the gossip, the band, you know, all that sort of stuff that we've always had. The view from the van, the first sports, the inside of you know, match day experiences, the songs, the flags and everything else like that we document and stuff across all of the social media, including YouTube. That all stays the same. We just bring a little bit more to the dance, and bit by bit over the course of the coming months we will continue to add little bits of strings, little bits of things here, little bits of things there, and we will test them out. We'll see what works, what you like, what you don't, and then we'll again just keep trying to add to it and improve it all of the time. So if there is anything that you want us to bring extra, let us know down below in the comments. That'd be always after constructive critique, or you can email us at magpie247@outlook.com. Lots of you did that with the Wembley pictures, which were fantastic to see. Literally probably 100 different designs from all over Newcastle, all over the world, to be honest. It was great to see. So yeah, anything like that, anything you want us to put up on the channel, any events you've got going off, just bang it through to there. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Message the page, we always try and get back to people just as soon as possible. But massive thank you for going over that 100,000 marker. It's just a shame we couldn't top it off as well with a cup victory. It would have meant the absolute world. But we go again. Yeah, we go again. Hey, I've been going for that many years. I remember being at school and thinking, yeah, back in the Keegan days, thinking, yeah, we're not far off winning something here. You know, you couldn't have seen the ups and the downs over the seasons and stuff like that, but be there forevermore. Love it to bits. Like I say, it's an absolute obsession of mine. It's an obsession of Carl's as well, talking about Newcastle United and stuff. So yeah, thumbs up. Let's hope we do get a positive result. Anything, I mean, a draw will be great, a win will be over the fucking moon. We've had, in fact, I'll probably do cartwheels down the street if we get a victory, I'll tell you that. Get ready for that. That'll be something. It's a shame to stop you being framed, because I could have got it sent in for that as well. But yeah, I'll wrap it up there. We'll be back over the weekend with the videos on the YouTube channel. Obviously the content rolls all the time across the rest of the social media channels: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as well. So in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.